Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I have a video for you on brushes and my favorite brushes, different types of brushes, specifically face brushes. I'm going to do two videos, one for face and one for eyes, since there's so many kinds. But brushes are really what makes makeup. You can use inexpensive makeup, cheap makeup like e.l.f., that kind of cheap, where things are $1 and $3, and still come out looking a lot more polished and finished than people who use expensive makeup and use the applicators only that they come with or something like that. Brushes really make a huge difference. So to get started, probably my favorite brush brand is Sigma. I think Sigma, which is sigmabeauty.com, which I'll try and put in the links below. Sigma brushes are really amazing quality at a really amazing price. But Sigma really kind of opened the doors. It's like my gateway drug into more makeup. But I first heard about Sigma brushes with Makeup by Tiffany D, who's on YouTube, and that's where I first heard about those. And once I started getting into makeup, I was like, I have to have a set of those brushes, and my lovely fiance bought me a set for my birthday, and it was the Make Me Classy set, which comes in this canister that snaps on the side, which is pretty cool. It makes a perfect travel set, and it came with, I think, 12 brushes, face, eyes, cheeks, everything. So several of these brushes that I'm going to show you here in just a second all came from that kit. Some did. So to go ahead and get started, we'll kind of start from the base foundation up. And there are several types of foundation brushes that are available. And the standard foundation brush, I think, is a brush that looks like this. And this is the foundation brush from Sigma. It's the F60. You just set a couple down. And it comes in the Make Me Classy kit. It's narrow. This is something, this is what I started off using. I like these brushes. I haven't used these in a really long time because I find that using something that buffs or that kind of works it into my skin works better on me, and it gives a more airbrushed finish. I think that's the thing about these. These are really great, and they work, but I think for a more flawless finish, I think other brushes are better. So, but this is still a really great brush. This is synthetic. This kind of gradient color scheme denotes that, and that's really good for liquid products and stuff, because natural bristles will obviously be more absorbent and soak up more product. The next, and kind of on the same vein, this is Real Techniques by Samantha Chapman, which you can get from Ulta or realtechniques.com. And this is a foundation brush as well, but it's angled, which is nice because you can kind of sweep through here, It's nice. It's a good brush too. Again, haven't used it in a while. All of the Real Techniques brushes are synthetic, so I like that. I use natural bristles too. It's just, it's nice. The next brush I went on to was actually also in the Make Me Classy kit from Sigma, and that is the Skunk brush. It's a duo fiber, for obvious reasons, and it's a stippling brush, and their title for it is the duo fiber. This is the F50, and this is meant to be used by stippling as you push the product into your skin, into your pores. This brush is very open. It's not very dense. So as I used it, first of all, it takes an incredible amount of time to stipple in everything with a brush like this, especially with one that has as much space as this one does between the bristles. So eventually I started doing this, where you kind of swirl it in, buff it in, that kind of a thing. And it worked. It worked very well for me, and it worked great with liquids and stuff like that. But I actually haven't used this in a while either. because I've moved on to something else, which I've talked about before, which, I mean, this is still a great brush. This has natural, the black bristles are natural, and the white ones maybe too, but I have been using Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap, liquid soap, and it actually makes the black bristles bleed color. Like if you wash color clothes on hot water in your washing machine. So be careful about that. Be careful of how you clean natural bristles like this. So if you've got any suggestions, by the way, about how to clean natural bristle brushes. Anyway, so what I went on to next is I started finding the Real Techniques brush. I got my Sigma kit first, and then I started finding the Real Techniques at Ulta, and I found this lovely little charmer. This is the stippling brush. I've talked about it before, I think, and it really did revolutionize my foundation. Because of how much denser the fibers are and the bristles, especially when you compare them to the F50 Duo Fiber, you can stipple with this and it works perfectly, because again, it takes less time because there's more bristles closer together moving more product at any given stipple. So, but I ended up using this more as a buffer as well, where just pushing it into my skin, and I really like the finish. I mean, this really changed my face and my skin once I started using it, and this is my third one. Again, synthetic. Really love this brush, and I kind of keep going back and forth. Right now what I am using is I bought a new brush, a new foundation brush recently, as in the past week, and it's the Sigma round kabuki brush, and this did not come in the kit. It is it's got a shiny handle, which I think you can see, whereas the ones in the kit have matte handles. This is incredibly dense. I mean, it's almost a solid surface. It is kind of crazy. But see the difference even between this one, which was so much better, versus this F82. This is part of the Precision, no, not Precision. Well, anyway, it's synthetic, I think. I'll probably have to look that up. I think it's synthetic. But this kind of took me back. I wasn't sure when I first started using it. I'm used to pushing more, and with this one, because the bristles are so densely packed and it's kind of firmer, you can do a really good stipple, or, that sounds really funny, or you can really buff really well, and that's what kabuki brushes are generally used for. I love the wider fat handle on this. It makes it really easy to use. There hasn't been ginormous differences between the finishes of my foundation when I use either one of these. Not like there was this one versus this one. So, but I can still tell that this is ever so slightly smoother with certain foundations. When I use my Maybelline Dream Smooth Mousse foundation, which I love, it's the best drugstore cream foundation ever. This works really well. So these are pretty much my two favorites right now. I have no reason to say this one is just absolutely better. This one was $16 maybe, and this is $10. So if you just want to save some money, go with this one. If you don't really feel the need to save $6, then try that one out. But either way, or try them both. Either way, they're really great. I really like these. So that is foundation. Next, we've got pretty much the standard powder brush, and this comes, you know, it's huge. This comes in the Sigma Make Me Classy kit. I mean, they have tons of kits. Look around, tons and tons of stuff, different colors, you know. But anyway, this is the large powder. It's an F30 brush, and again, it's huge. And I don't really use powder that much because of my skin. It's very dry. But when I do, I just, you know, kind of tap it in so that it, if you swirl say you're setting liquid makeup, you know, you've put on liquid foundation or cream even, and you're trying to set it with a powder. If you swirl it and do all this kind of stuff, all it's going to do is move the makeup that's underneath, and so therefore later in the day your face is going to look really patchy as you know, naturally sweat and oils come out of your pores and stuff, which everybody does regardless of how dry your skin is. It's just going to look really funky, and it's like running, and it's just not pretty. So stippling and patting the powder on is going to keep it in one place without moving the makeup underneath. Anywho, this is a great powder brush. One of my favorite things ever is blush. I'm starting to really get into blush, which means I'm starting to collect way too much. I think one of the standard brushes that you would think of is more of a brush like this. This is a Real Techniques blush brush. I think it's $10, and I really like this brush. It's a really, really good brush. Of course, it's synthetic. It kind of comes to a little, it's like a bulb, and it kind of comes to a point at the top, and then it's really good for, you can concentrate the color here at the tip, and then when you go to blend it in, the wider parts around here actually helps blend, so you don't have this concentrated line of color. It diffuses it and makes it look more natural and blended, which is what most people on a daily basis are going for. You want everything to blend. This is a really great brush. I highly recommend this brush. The brush that comes, whoops, just dropped it. The brush that comes with the Sigma Make Me Classy kit, or any of those kits in the canisters, is the large angled contour. And of course mine's dirty, and that's the F40. This is natural bristles. It's goat hair. It's a really nice brush. Any angled brush is really good because it just sits on top of your cheekbone really well, and you want to have it on top of your cheekbone. You don't want blush like only right here. You don't want it down here. That's contour, you know. So this angled brushes work really well for that. I've had trouble with keeping this brush clean because I probably don't clean them frequently enough. I clean them weekly, and I use pretty pigmented blush, so I probably should be cleaning them daily. Kind of spot cleaning them more, but it's goat hair, it's goat fibers, and so it's more porous, and they're white, and it just stains. You know, I do deep clean them pretty regularly, so it's not always dirty or anything, but it just annoys me when I can't get them like bleached clean, you know. So, but anyway, still, it's a really great brush, and I love it, so I'm really, really happy with it. Another brush that I've used a lot is another Real Techniques brush, and this is the Multitask brush. Also, this comes in like the Essentials kit or something. This is a fantastic brush. I love it. The lettering is starting to wear off. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, I just love the shape, how it's kind of oval almost. But it's not too big, it's not too small. I use this to contour because it does come to a little bit of a point. So I will get a little bit of product and just hit up the hollows of my cheeks. I've used this for blush, you know, and bronzer and stuff. I've used it for powder. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's totally worth it. Totally worth buying the kit for too. So really, really big fan of this brush. Next, I have one concealer brush, and I actually use it for eye makeup. I don't really have a pressing need to use concealer brushes. I usually use my finger. But this is the Sigma concealer brush. It's the F70, and it's just a small flat brush. I actually used this today to smudge out my eyeliner. So this is synthetic as well, and came in the kit. And you know, for me, it's kind of big. If I'm going to use concealer brush, I want it to like pinpoint and then just tap it in or something. So that's why I use this for an eyeshadow brush or something. But it's up to you, whatever works. If you have larger pimples, it may work perfectly. I have lots of small ones, and so I need to use something a little more accurate, and for me that's just my finger and tapping it in. So the more you know. Stars. Okay, just a couple of brushes left. I have the small contour brush by Sigma. It's the F05, and it is perfect for putting color right here in the hollows of your cheeks, and then, you know, moving it along your hairline, and then underneath your jaw where you create shadows. That's the whole point of contouring, is creating shadows. You want these spaces to recede so it makes your face look more angular, and you know, makes you look like you've got a more pronounced jaw and it's less of a soft line. Not that I have to worry about this. Anywho, I love this brush, and sometimes I have to be careful because I can get too much of a concentration of product, so you do have to be careful, but it blends really well without pulling the color away from the spot that you want it to be contoured. So really good brush, and this is something I bought on its own. It didn't come with a kit. It's a really great brush to have. I highly recommend that one. You know, you don't have to have brushes to do every single thing. You can do, you know, you can use a brush like the multitask brush for many different things, but if you want a brush, there are most certainly brushes available for just about anything you could use or could need to do. So leads me into the next brush, which is the Sigma tapered highlighter brush, which I kind of love. It obviously is tapered, it comes to a very nice point, and it is the F35, and it's perfect for getting in a little bit of product and just hitting the top and the curve of your socket and the top of your cheekbone. Love it, love it, love it. You know, if you want to put something down your nose, if you want to do your cupid's bow, and then anywhere else, it's wonderful. People with smaller faces and smaller bone structure could use this as a blush brush, actually. I have heard of people doing that. I don't do that myself. You could also use this to contour if you wanted to. It would be really good for that. So really great brush for highlighting. And then lastly, I have a fan brush. And it took me the longest time to figure out what fan brushes were used for, which of course is a variety of different things, just like most brushes. I bought this one. This is an e.l.f. fan brush. I paid $3 for this at Target. I love it. It's great. I used to use this on the tops of my cheekbones for the highlight, and every now and then I still do. You can use it for blush, really concentrated blush. This will diffuse it really well, and just kind of pull it back. You can use it for powder, you know, any kind of a highlight powder like a MAC mineralized skin finish, or you know, something of that kind of shimmery powder. You can use it for that. People, you know, get creative with brushes and use it for anything. You could use it to wipe away fallout from shadows underneath your eyes. You could use it to set concealer if you really wanted to with a little bit of powder. Possibilities are endless, which is what's so great about makeup. Don't feel like you have to be one thing or the other with, I can only use this brush for one thing and blah 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 blah, just because it says, you know, it says it's a highlighting brush. Well, I can only use it to highlight. Well, no, that's not true. You can use brushes for multiple purposes regardless of what the handle says. And don't ever get confined by your makeup and your beauty. That's just tragic. We don't want that. So that's pretty much it for the face brushes. Again, Sigma brushes are great, and sometimes, you know, they may be a little more expensive than what you can afford, which is perfectly fine, because e.l.f., Real Techniques, Sonia Kashuk from Target, they all make really great brushes. Sonia Kashuk may be just about the same price point as Sigma, so you may just stick to Real Techniques and e.l.f. if that's just too much money, but invest in your brushes. If you can, you're better off investing in your brushes than you are investing in your makeup, because you can do more with bad makeup and good brushes than you can the other way around. So keep that in mind and stay beautiful, and I will talk to you soon.